President Biden announces a big move against Russia.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
The president says the ban on oil, natural gas, and coal imports is in retaliation for Russia invading Ukraine. The sanction follows pleas from Ukraine's president to U.S. and Western officials to cut off Russian imports. Biden acknowledged the ban will cost Americans, particularly at the gas pump. And joining us now is Bellarmine Associate Professor of Economics, Abby Hall. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay, so my first question is, when most Americans hear this news, they will be thinking, how does this impact them? Right now in Louisville, gas is about $4.25 a gallon. So how high do you think gas will get in Louisville?
So it's difficult for us to know where exactly the peak is for gas prices. I likewise filled up this morning at $4.25 a gallon, and it was painful. We're already seeing prices over $5 a gallon in coastal cities, so think California and New York. My expectation is that these prices are definitely going to go higher before they go down, but in terms of exactly where that peak is, we just don't know.
And you said it is going to be painful. Everything is more expensive right now. We've been dealing with sky-high inflation, high gas prices that are about to get even higher. What do you think the breaking point for Americans is?
So I think for different people, the prices are going to impact them in different ways, or exactly where that point is for different families is going to really depend on a number of different factors. What your income looks like, what types of goods and services that you're typically buying. One of the things that the Biden administration is undoubtedly thinking when making these announcements related to these various economic sanctions is that Americans are already hurting. So you mentioned before inflation or just prices on goods and services already being higher, and then you're adding on this additional cost for oil and natural gas. And it's definitely leading to a lot of people feeling the pinch.
That's right. And let's talk numbers a little bit here. The U.S. was only getting 7% of its oil from Russia. To put that into perspective, that's about 255 million barrels last year, according to the White House. The White House also announcing today it will release 60 million barrels from its reserves. So that's a difference of about 200 million barrels. Will that help with the price hike at all?
So based on what we've seen recently with various announcements to release additional reserves, I'm not particularly confident that this move by the White House to move additional barrels of oil out into the market is likely going to move the needle a whole lot. There are a few different reasons for that. One is just, as you mentioned, 60 million barrels compared to the typical 250 million. It's really just a drop in the bucket. But beyond that, we also have to think about that this is not isolated markets. So the U.S. market for oil is interconnected not only with Russia, but with OPEC states and also with Europe. And so as we're continuing to see demand and supply fluctuations in the global market for oil, we should also anticipate to feel those effects domestically.
All right, Abby Hall with Bellarmine University. Thank you so much.